So Obama is pissed because he doesn't get his fourth term, and the American people made sure of that, all right? See, while the Democrats are out here trying to scramble around and figure out where they went wrong and why they are not in charge right now, how about we start with the corruption? How about we start with how they tore the country apart? They split the country in half, okay? How about we talk about how they gave the American dream over to non-American citizens and turned the American citizens into slaves for their own wicked agendas? How about we start there? How about we start with the narcissism, Obama? How about we talk about that? Okay? You know, but we know they don't want to talk about it. We know they're going to deny, and avoid accountability. That's what they do. So, you know, it is what it is. But we're here to get into this video. Shout out to the King Squad, the King Squad family, and the King Squad elites. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and if nobody told you today, hope you guys are having a great and awesome day. Let's get into the video.
One of the lessons I think we've come to understand, I hope that everyone has come to understand, is the power of projection.
Yes.
Accuse your opponent of the sins which you're committing. President Obama gave us, former President Obama, gave us another example of projection Thursday night in Chicago. He gave a speech where he talked about the weaponization of government and the polarization of your opponent, the polarization of America. Let's listen to the words of former President Obama.
Since total victory is impossible in a country politically split down the middle, the result is a doom loop of government gridlock, even greater polarization. When I mentioned to a few friends that our foundation would be hosting a forum on democracy and pluralism, I got more than a few groans and eye rolls, especially since, as far as they were concerned, the election proved that democracy is pretty far down on people's priority list. There are going to be times, potentially, when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a permanent grip on power, either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents.
That, my friends, is projection.
That is amazing, actually. So it's intentional. I mean, this isn't just some tick or something that just popped into his head because he's bummed out that they lost the election so bad. I mean, people need to understand Barack Obama has been a really negative force on this country and on politics and creating so much division. That comes from Saul Alinsky. People forget Barack Obama was teaching rules for radicals. He was teaching about Saul Alinsky at the University of Chicago. That is a hero to him. And one of his rules, among many, that was meant to basically dismantle society and bring about this, liberal utopia, one of them was how to attack your enemy. And Saul Alinsky, took his lessons from Lucifer, actually. Like, he talked about that being somebody who could teach them how to take power and control. And here's Barack Obama, Charlie, I think, really kind of going, he's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
He created this. He thought it was going to become this permanent power base for him. And now he's accusing the right of what he did because he's just super bummed out right now.
Yeah, and it is total projection. It's also desperation. That's the thing that is so striking to me about that entire, all those remarks that he made, that entire speech or whatever it was the depth of he's very bitter. That's not the Barack Obama who gave that speech in 2004. Even if you didn't agree with him and didn't like him and didn't agree with his policy prescriptions, it's a different guy than he was when he gave that speech in 2004 or when he won that election in 2008. He is a deeply bitter, angry guy, and he's talking about how voters don't care about democracy.
Hope and change has turned into dour and bitter.
Yeah. Bitter and
really
projectionism.
And I would say, and while he's projecting, he's not just projecting that which we all know at this point, which is the Department of Justice was weaponized under Joe Biden. There was a consolidation of permanent Washington under Joe Biden. What we should also point out is it all began under Barack Obama.
Yes. Yep.
That is when, for example, he spied on a Fox News reporter. That is when Lois Lerner targeted conservatives with the IRS. That is when much of this began and was just extrapolated under the presidency of Joe Biden.
Yeah, and then they also, under Barack Obama, and then metastasized under Joe Biden, which, many people believe that administration was being run out of Obama's mansion in Colorado, Washington, D.C. But that said, I mean, the censorship industrial complex that was used to also consolidate that power is something else. And that's one of the things that people were really voting against, along with the weaponization of the government, this idea that it could be used to censor us and therefore allow them to consolidate power. Barack Obama is very isolated right now. Even his best friend, George Clooney, who wrote the op-ed that ended up pushing out Joe Biden, is now upset at Barack Obama, going, hey, you told me to write that op-ed. Now everyone's blaming me online. Where are you, Barack Obama? Barack Obama's becoming, he's not used to not being glorified. And this is an interesting moment for him.
Yeah, and meanwhile, across the aisle, you have Donald Trump, who has taken over the mantle of sort of occupying the broad center of American public opinion on things like illegal immigration, to the point where you even have New York City's Mayor Eric Adams, who has previously supported sanctuary cities, so he can't be let off the hook entirely. But he's open to the idea that Donald Trump and Republicans might very well have some solutions to solve the grave problems in the city. Watch this.
Would you ever consider rejoining the GOP?
The party that's the most important for me is the American Party. I'm a part of the American Party. I love this country. This is the home of the free, the land of the brave.
So Eric Adams there, who has taken the side, to your point, Charlie, of Donald Trump, or at least tilted in the direction of Donald Trump when it comes to illegal immigration. They're even leaving the door open to a return to the Republican Party.
Yeah, now that the bills are coming due, he's like, wait a minute, maybe this wasn't such a great idea.
But also, don't forget, Mayor Eric Adams was the subject, I think, of the weaponization that we were just talking about. You know, you said he was for sanctuary cities. He saw the effects on his city. He was listening to the feedback coming from the Bronx and Queens, and people saying, this is horrible, our crime is up, we can't walk the streets. You know, there's, illegal businesses on the sidewalk. The place looks like crap. And so he started to respond to it and draw attention to what was happening at the border. And all of a sudden, he had a big investigation on him. And so Donald Trump famously at the Catholic event here in New York City just before the election, sort of reaching out and saying, hey, I know what that feels like. This government can be weaponized. And I think that's why he's losing his thrill with the Democrat Party. And again, it might just be, that he's just being politically savvy, reading the tea leaves. People are in no mood for Democrats and their radical agenda right now. But I also think that he has experience enough to know that this was not good.
Yeah, and the fish fry didn't work. Okay, let's talk about it, right? He thought he could just hand him some hot sauce, some collard greens, and fish, and and that's that. And people will just vote Democrat and vote blue no matter who. So, I mean, you got to be kidding me. The perception the Democrats have of the American people is absolutely sickening, quite frankly. And, they thought they could just sit here and, hand out some canned goods and that's actually a lot coming from the Democrats, right? But, they thought they could just sit here and like I said, the fried fish, the catfish, the fish fry, and some collard greens and hot sauce. And, everybody will vote blue no matter who. But we have a new breed of conservative out here, okay? So that plays a huge part too. All right. On top of that, you got a lot of people that were sitting here looking at how much more money they had when Trump was in office versus how much money they had when Joe Biden was in office. All right. And, people were just not falling for it anymore. Plus, on top of that, the entire campaign was a hate campaign. And the Democrats didn't expect us to see through that. Okay. So They really, it's really insulting that he's shocked, because I don't know what he's shocked about. I mean, their entire campaign was a bunch of BS, and we saw right through it. We were calling it out the whole time. Okay. It was just a giant hate campaign. And the Democrats were panicking, so they threw Kamala Harris on stage with some strings attached to her and made her dance for a while. And, all just to make sure Trump couldn't get in office. They pulled every card possible. Oh, look, this Indian woman, she's black. And then, she's black. She's a woman. She's not a trans woman. She's a woman. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. We're fighting to delete babies and sacrifice kids and sacrifice kids and immigrants. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, cool. Hey, Biden. Oh, Biden's on his third nap of the day. Anyways, yeah, that sounds good. All right, you know, that was the whole thing. No, we saw right through that. We're like, what the heck is this? I'm not voting for this. You know what I mean? So, and Trump is out here making common sense. Trump is over here appealing to the everyday American. He's seeing the struggle. He's in the field with the American people, seeing the devastation from these hurricanes, talking to the American people, voicing our concerns, on the airwaves, all that kind of stuff, all while they're trying to assassinate this man politically. Okay, they had weaponized the courts against him. I know for me personally, that's one thing that caught my attention. I was like, man, what am I watching? John Wick 5? Like, dang. I mean, he's out here getting sued to Kingdom Come, and from there, then they shot him. I was like, good Lord, what is this? What am I watching? What Mission Impossible is this? Is this a James Bond? Is Trump edition? Like, what is this? A 007 Trump. I mean, the whole thing was crazy. So, for them to sit here and be shocked is just, they just don't live on Earth. I mean, that's really kind of where I'm at this point. Let me know. Drop down below in the comments what you guys think. I always appreciate seeing what you guys have to say. And drop down below in the comments if you think Obama's a narcissist. I think so. But yeah, I just really think that they underestimated the American people's ability to awaken. And that's that. They thought we were going to stay woke. And that just was not the case. So that's all for this video, you guys. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And don't let anybody tell you any different, all right? Hope everybody's having a great and awesome day, drinking their water and making their money legally. No, this is not financial advice. And I'll see you in the next one. Shout out to the King Squad, the King Squad family, and the King Squad elites. Peace.